I'm telling you what, every single time something happens, everything was just fine. And then all of a sudden, I got completely, I mean, like, no kidding, I got completely logged out. I don't know what happened. Like, just give me 1 minute. I don't know what happened. I went right on here. Bam. I'm 8:59. I'm getting on. Something popped up from Facebook. Logged me completely out of everything. Logged me out of everything. Logged me out of the Streamlabs. And now, you just have to bear with me. I had everything ready to go. This is insane. I am not worth all this. I'm not even the greatest at this. Like, I'm just running my mouth. Like, how on earth do these things happen every week? It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, just hang on a second. Let me get this up. Oh, you've got to be joking with me. Just give me one more sec. This is going to be another slow start because I had everything ready to go. Anyway, we got a guest coming up here in a little bit. Oh, this is insanity to me. So just give me one more sec to get this set up. Maybe some people may be coming in. I don't know. Just hang tight. Let me get this going. My Lord. And if you join in, if you come on in, let me know that I'm going through. Window capture. Okay, here we go. Ugh, thank goodness. Okay. Oh, man, this is wild. All right, here we go. I'm just going to get right into it really quick here because this thing is... All right, while I'm getting everything set up, this is what I wanted to start the intro with, so just bear with me here.
Elections have been rigged for centuries because government is a form of slavery. Which is why what the founding fathers of these United States gave us is so revered. They drafted a form of government unlike any other in history, a revolutionary form of governance based upon the foundation that all men are created equal and independent, and that all are born with the inherent and inalienable right to the preservation of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. George Washington wrote, "If men are to be precluded from offering their sentiments on a matter which may involve the most serious and alarming consequences that can invite the consideration of mankind, reason is of no use to us. The freedom of speech may be taken away, and dumb and silent we may be led like sheep to the slaughter." Benjamin Franklin wrote, "Freedom of speech is a principal pillar of a free government. When this support is taken away, the constitution of a free society is dissolved, and tyranny is erected on its ruins." And this is where we are at today. Our First Amendment states that Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. And it has been stripped away from us by tyrants. News host Owen Schroyer is being charged with the crime of questioning the results of the 2020 presidential elections, the most blatant election fraud in U.S. history. And he did so peacefully, which is his God-given right under the U.S. Constitution. Schroyer isn't being charged with conspiracy, incitement, or any actual crime at all. He is being charged for exercising his freedom of speech. The sentencing document goes on for pages, quoting him for saying what Americans on both sides of the crippling two-party system have been saying for over a century. In short, that the government is tyrannical and criminal, which should be obvious to just about everyone at this point. And this is not a crime. It is the first line of defense against tyranny, our freedom to call it out. The document mentions a simple misdemeanor that involves Schroyer being on Capitol grounds. This was a violation of a court order that resulted from a 2019 arrest when Schroyer stood and protested a House Judiciary
Oh, Lord, my bad.
Committee meeting. But this is not the crime he is being charged with. The 30-page sentencing document is nothing but hot air being blown by a legal team held on the leash by tyrants who occupy the halls of our government. What Schroyer is actually being charged with is best summarized on page 20, where it states, his statements and actions after January 6 illustrate his complete lack of remorse. To date, despite a number of opportunities he has taken to speak about the election and January 6, he has yet to sincerely demonstrate genuine remorse for his conduct. In other words, he won't shut up about the stolen 2020 election. This is his God-given right. But the criminals who have hijacked we the people's government are letting the rest of us know that those days are over, and we are now their slaves to be experimented on, thrown in jail, and murdered. Reporting for InfoWars, this is Greg Reese.
Okay, I wanted to cover that whole thing. There's so many different directions that I could take this show in tonight, and I'm telling you, it's been a battle here for the last 3 hours because I've got so much that I want to cover. And so I wrote out a list here, but I wanted everybody to hear that. First off, in this day and time, in this point in time, if you're not following Greg Reese from Greg Reese Reports from band.video, infowars.com, he's one of the best. He's one of my top at least 5 people that I follow and watch all of his videos. I mean, he's got great content, but I wanted you to see that right there because if you don't know who that was Owen Schroyer, who's been on InfoWars, I think about 6 years now, and he's being sent to jail for 60 days. They wanted to originally send him to jail for 120 days. He's literally being charged 60 days in prison for because I got violating free speech. I mean, hell, I don't know. He didn't go in the Capitol. He was down there. He tried to keep people away from the Capitol. You watch the video. You can go back if you follow Greg Reese on Twitter. I know it's called X, whatever. It's Twitter. Follow him. He is actually doing some live streaming on YouTube now. But you're incomplete if you're not following the Reese Report, because I was actually going to start off this entire show with a 9/11 narrative. And things change so much because things are changing so rapidly. It's so good to see you in here, Tyler and Jennifer. And we got some viewers. If you don't care, if you've got a place to share this with, share it with people. Let them know that we're online, because I do have a guest coming up that we're going to discuss some stuff with it. Some good stuff in Georgia. But I got to get through all the bad crap first. We got to cover this stuff. So, Greg Reese. Now, let's check this out here. From the Associated Press, and why is this a full screen? I don't know. Oh, let's go back over here. Associated Press. Let me pull this up real quick so we can see this. And decline. Here she is, folks. New Mexico governor issues order suspending the right to carry firearms in public across Albuquerque, New Mexico. I'm going to be really nice here, and I'm not going to curse. I'm going to read a little bit of the Santa Fe, New Mexico. New Mexico City Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham on Friday issued an emergency order suspending the right to carry firearms in public across Albuquerque and the surrounding county for at least 30 days in response to a spate of gun violence. The Democratic governor said she expects legal challenges, but was compelled to act because of the recent shootings, more like gaslighting, including the death of an 11-year-old boy outside a minor league baseball stadium this week. It's a tragedy that these things happen. But we're going to blame the guns, not blame the people, not blame the idiocracy, not blame these mentally challenged people that are on SSRIs that our government provides to pharmaceutical companies, that they're doped out of their mind playing in this nasty culture war. No, we don't blame them. We're going to blame the metal piece of machinery there that requires a human to pick it up and use it, right? Not to mention that Lauren Grisham said the state police would be responsible. State police would be responsible for enforcing what amounts to civil violations. Albuquerque Police Chief Harold Medina said he won't enforce it, and Bernalillo County Sheriff John Allen said he's uneasy about it because it raises too many questions about constitutional rights. And this is going to tie in. I promise you, this is going to tie in. However, let's go listen to this can opener. It's the nicest way I can say it. Let's just hear a little bit about what she's got to say.
Yes, all the examples
This might be a little low. Hang on.
Kids shooting at other kids, shooting from cars. So what's the value of the civil order? Why not just do better law enforcement?
Both. The value of the order is that it gives me three things.
Three
One,
things.
It says it's a statewide issue and it's a message to everyone to start leveraging your resources and arresting people. Two, the jurisdictions come at this, including with the DOJ restrictions, differently, without the leveraging and the additional resources, arresting, and where do they go? We gotta make sure that everyone is bumping up their services. It's a message to the Metropolitan Detention Center. It's a message to the HMOs. You better figure out treatment. We have been sort of stalled out, to your point. This order basically says, stop stalling out, and to your point, just arrest everyone. Well, I also have to have the
Just
ability
arrest
to
everyone.
Arrest everyone. There are literally too many people to arrest. This would allow us.
Blood pressure's going up. But I want you to hear what she's going to say here in a second.
Walking down a public street, they're not going to get arrested.
I can make the point that
Just listen.
maybe they should be. And this is the point. I'm willing to do anything and everything within a shred of evidence-based effort. Because if you're not horrified that on any street corner in too many cities in New Mexico, there's
Whatever.
someone with a gun sticking out of their waist or their belt. And I'll tell you, if you're a young person, you're not allowed to have a handgun.
Well, it's a crime already.
I got it, but we won't be able to arrest all of them. So imagine, just in a perfect world, if this was upheld, it gives all
Here it
of
is.
these police officers the ability to
Here it
focus
is.
on the real criminals.
Last follow-up.
Yeah,
You took
but your point is valid.
You took an oath to the
Listen,
Constitution.
right here.
Isn't it
Oath to the Constitution.
unconstitutional to say you cannot exercise your carry license?
With one exception, and that is if there's an emergency,
Whatever.
and I've declared an emergency for a temporary amount of time, I can invoke additional powers. No constitutional right, in my view, including my oath, is intended to be absolute. There are
Okay,
restrictions
that's
on
what
free
I wanted to
speech.
get
There
to
are
the meat and
restrictions
potatoes.
on
I'm
my
sorry you had to
freedoms.
listen to that
And this-
can opener talk that long. Maybe the Constitution is not absolute, right? Which what her point is, I'm not stupid. What she's saying is that the Constitution, there are like she's going with you can't yell fire in a crowded theater, you can't threaten to shoot the president of the United States. This is doublespeak. This is total gaslight, and this is idiocracy at its worst. Okay. Now, I wanted to bring this up real quick as just to show you how full of crap that this woman is about Albuquerque, right? And believe me, every gun violence is a tragedy. I'm not stupid. And she is basically talking about people. She's not even talking about the street gangs and the thug violence and the things that are going on, because we can't talk about those things because we'll be labeled as racist or something if we have to talk about a demographic or whatever. She's talking about the people that walk into Walmart with open carry and all this stuff. We're not stupid. But I've got a point to this. But I want you to look at this real quick, and let me make sure that it is showing. I'm gonna go up with the screen a little bit. The top 10 most dangerous cities. The top 10 most dangerous cities. Here we go. Number 1, Bessemer, Alabama. Number 2, Monroe, Louisiana. We covered this. Number 3, Saginaw. Number 4, Memphis, Tennessee. I almost got killed in Memphis, Tennessee. Number 5, Detroit, Michigan. Of course, all of these cities. Number 6, Birmingham, Alabama, which I lived in Birmingham, Alabama. I almost got carjacked twice at 2 different red lights in the span of about 9 months. Bessemer, Alabama was a place where at one of the stores that I worked at, and I worked at that store, 2 ladies got in a fight over a jar of jelly, and this was like the year 2000, 2001, and they got mad over $1 jar of jelly, and they threw it through a window. a storefront window and busted the window out. Nowhere on here does it show anything. And strangely enough, it shows Arkansas, Pine Bluff and Little Rock, Arkansas. I mean, I wonder if the Clintons got anything to do with that, I'm just saying, this Albuquerque, I get it, whatever, but you cannot infringe the rights like that. You absolutely cannot. This is ridiculous. And she knows that she cannot do this. She knows she can't infringe the rights. What is this? This is gaslighting. This is testing. This is brazen testing the waters to destroy the Constitution of the United States of America. The first thing that I showed you was Owen Schroyer. Owen Schroyer, they're going after all these January 6 people. It was not an insurrection whatsoever. They're going after all of these people now. They're going after the subset of people who, well, they didn't really go into the White House. They didn't even do anything, but they were there. And let me tell you something. About 3 weeks ago, I got to sit down. With a person who was at January 6th. And this person did get their bank accounts frozen. This right after that, they didn't go in the Capitol. They weren't anywhere near the whole area. They did see some stuff, but I'm going to tell you. And then you look up here in Ringgold, Georgia, a January 6er got arrested. This stuff's still going on. And the Owen Schroyer is all about suppressing the freedom of speech, the Constitution. The right to bear arms, freedom of speech. It's coming, folks. They're bearing down. They're bearing down on people like you and people like me. What did Trump say? They're not going after him. They're going after us. They're going after us. And it's just like, I don't even have words for this. This is where we're at right now. And you need to understand. You need to pay attention and understand that this is where we're at right now. Dude is getting 120 days. Because he didn't show any remorse, and he was talking about election interference. Are you kidding me? What makes you think that they're not going to come after you? What did we cover last week with Zoe Warren? The governors are in bed with the WEF. Now, I'm getting ready to compile my own video about this stuff, okay? About this governor's treaty. But there you have the governor of Albuquerque, New Mexico. Now, what is going on in all these cities, right? We see the videos every day. We see the shoplifting, the organized crime shoplifting. We see all of these drugs that are in the streets. What do they want to do? They want to legalize the drugs. They want to keep people drugged out of their freaking minds. Okay, they want to defund the police, right? Because we're a police state. We defund the police. So, and they want to come up with this equitable sustainability, carbon, blah, yada, yada. And then you're going to turn around and blame people that are card carrying, that are legal. Constitutional people that are carrying guns. I mean, like that's even a thing. Look at the percentages. It's not. You might walk into a store once a week and see somebody with a gun on their side, but no, they're going to target all the gun owners because they don't want to deal with the violence in their cities, right? They can't call it out, so they're trying to step on the Constitution here. Step on the Constitution. This is coming, and it's coming everywhere. You got to be prepared for it. And Jennifer, I know you're out there. I'm going to just need a few more minutes because I got started late. So now, let's look at Georgia for a minute. All right? I'm going to pull this story up here in case you haven't already seen this story. Oh, hang on a second. I don't want to screw that up. Georgia Record. Georgia Record. What does Georgia Record say? And if you haven't already heard of this, breaking. Why is Kemp rushing a part of the defeated 520 bill into action via executive order? Now, let's read a little bit into this. From the governor on September the 1st. All right. One of the bills defeated in the spring 2023 session of the Georgia legislature was HB 520, known as the Mental Health Bill, right? If you're not familiar with this is a bill. It had a bunch of stuff in it, a bunch of earmarks, and people said, "Whoa, put the brakes on. We need to stop this for a minute. We need to look at this." There's I think there's 3 mental health bills in Georgia now. The bill raised concerns with many across the state and drew people to the Capitol to ask hard questions about the provisions of the bill. Now, we all see what happens when you ask hard questions about anything. They just walk off, or they brush it off, or they call you a tinfoil hatter and all this crap, obviously. Now, one of the provisions was, listen to this. This ties into Owen Schroyer, ties into the governor of New Mexico. One of the provisions was the sharing of data across state agencies through an agency known as the Georgia Data Analytic Center. On September 1, a few days ago, Kemp signed an executive order giving himself broad-based authority over what agencies can see, what data, and which agencies cannot. Does that even make any sense to you? Because this was one of the key components of this 520 bill that got shut down by our legislature. We also have our governor telling us, well, you got to go through the legislature if you want to make any changes. You got to go through this. But he signs an executive order giving him this broad power right here, okay, to go through the Georgia Data Analytical Center to share information, and you don't have to know about it, see? You don't have to know about it. So basically, let's see what it says. So if a citizen's data is shared from one agency to another, will the citizen know? Will they be able to find out? Perhaps more important, why would this executive order be so critical to complete now? And why not wait and let the legislature accomplish this? Right, so Governor Kemp, he can't do a special session like anybody's calling for, right? But he can sign an executive order like this, and he's legal to do so. But why is he doing this? Think about where this is going to lead in the future of data sharing, or agencies, organizations that are going to be able to be freely shared. People like me who's going to have all my information shared through all these agencies, I guess, so they can come and arrest me, arrest you, whatever. You know, this is insane. Just last week, Kemp said in response to calls for a special session of the legislature to investigate Fani Willis's bizarre indictments, we're not having a special session. Thanks for recording. Yet at the end of that same week, he enacts a sweeping mandate which becomes effective upon signature and puts him in position to directly control data transfer between agencies and the sole individual for resolution of disputes. And you can download it. There it is right there. If you haven't already heard about it. I mean, you kind of see the picture that I'm painting here. Like, this stuff's getting pretty crazy, man. It's getting to a draconian level, and it's happening all at once. Okay? Now, I want to cover one more thing, and then I'm going to get to my guest because it ties along in with it. We're doing politics right now, and then we're going to go into the World War III and the aliens and all that stuff after our guest. So let's go right here and see. Let me see if I can find it. I think it's this one. Nope, that's not the one. Hang on. Hang on one second. Don't tell me that it's gone. Ah, right here. Listen to your beloved speaker, Kevin McCarthy.
These allegations paint a picture of a culture of corruption. Now, here's what we know so far. Through our investigations, we have found that President Biden did lie to the American people about his own knowledge of his family's foreign business dealings. Eyewitnesses have testified that the president
We're only going to listen to a minute of this, all right? Just a little bit.
and had multiple interactions.
Oh, man, we got some good comments coming in.
Cars
Keep them coming in.
Into his son's and his son's business partners.
Okay, I just wanted to share just a little bit of
We know
that,
the
right?
bank-
Kevin McCarthy. Okay, good news here, because we're going to get into a little bit of good news. So what is the good news? Kevin McCarthy here is saying, hey, guess what? We're going to go ahead and do an impeachment inquiry, right? And so sounds good. Sounds real good. You know, hey, I'm not dunking on these people. I mean, they had to literally twist this dude's arm to get it going. Matt Gaetz come out last week basically siding with some Democrats. Like, what do we have to do to get this thing moving, right? My gripe about this is that President Trump was impeached twice. Not once, but twice. One of them being over a phone call, with the first one, what was it even about? Ice cream? Where they got 2 scoops of ice cream? And every single person fell single file in line, and they wasted millions and millions of your taxpayer dollars to try to impeach this president twice. And we had to sit through that crap show. And here we are. We've just went through 4 months, basically, of just raw dog investigations, whistleblowers. Everybody's come out in every single way, shape, and form. And we're going to get into some conspiracy theories because, remember, what was it, 51 Department of Justice, FBI, CIA, they all signed an affidavit or the email saying the Hunter Biden laptop wasn't real? Give me a freaking break. We have so much evidence and so much to impeach this president right now. And we are getting dragged through the street here with this. Now, I'm not calling out Marjorie Taylor Greene, despite what you think about anything I say about Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm a supporter of Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene is caught in the middle of some stuff. But let me tell you something. I'm hoping, because she went on InfoWars last week, she went out and told people, hey, this is our impeachment plan, okay? But I'm just tired of the doublespeak, okay? Because I want you to just listen to what she's got to say here. This is about a 2-minute clip.
To clarify, is the inquiry open right now? Is there a vote that's going to be taken in the House of Representatives? What do the next steps look like?
That's a great question because there's some confusion. There's 2 ways to open an impeachment inquiry. The House can take a vote, or the Speaker of the House can announce and start and open the investigation. He can open the impeachment inquiry. That was a precedent set forward by former Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi, and that's what he chose to do today, and I think it was a great, bold move.
Where do you see this ending up? Do you see this ending in removal from office for President Biden? Do you see this going even to a Senate trial, making out of the House of Representatives? What's the
All right, listen closely.
Well, what I actually want to see is I want to see a very deep dive, a detailed investigation, no matter how long it takes. And it may take months and months. It may go all the way to the November election. But what we need to do is we need to investigate
Go
Joe
all the
Biden,
way to the
but we also need to investigate
November elections.
the web of people that exist in our federal agencies, the FBI, the DOJ, the CIA, and many others, serving not only in this administration, the former administration, and the one before it.
Now, okay. Very clearly, can you hear what reason I wanted you to listen to that clip? She's basically telling us, without telling us, that he's not going to be impeached. Prove me wrong if you think that I'm blowing smoke. But she just told us he's not going to be impeached. She told us he's not going to be impeached without telling us, because apparently they're willing to drag this thing out all the way up until the November election, you see. They're wanting to go deep, and they're wanting to arrest all these people, and they're wanting to go through all of this stuff. So we're not going to get anything out of this. Okay, I'm not blaming Marjorie Taylor Greene for this, but we're not going to get anything out of this. They have a complete weaponized Department of Justice. Do you think that these Republicans, after all the information that's dropped, after the media is running cover for Hunter, for Joe, for all of these things, they won't even talk about this impeachment inquiry on the news? The commander-in-chief blew it off every time he's asked about it. Marjorie Taylor Greene has already admitted that we don't have enough Republican support in our own damn Congress or Senate to even do this. This is only an inquiry. We've been in inquiry for 4 months now. You see? We've been in inquiry. We've been into all of these judicial hearings, and we're taking our time because we're conservative, we're Republican, we're supposed to do the right thing and on the right side and do things thorough. But this ain't going to end in an impeachment. This is going to go right up to the election. We're not going to get the impeachment. We're going to get the inquiry, and something else is going to happen. Now, prove me wrong. I want to be able to come up here and tell every single person that I'm sorry, I was wrong. I was wrong about all of our people, and that he was impeached, because I guess they're scared about Kamala Harris. But do you understand? I would rather have Kamala Harris as a president than I would this bumbling fool. I'm sure everybody's already seen the videos. I can't show you the videos, but I'm sure that you've seen all this crap. They literally shut the microphone off of him, I believe, the G20 summit when he was in Vietnam. He was so disheveled and disarrayed. And I worry more about the optics of that. How does it look to every other country out there, including the proxy war that we're involved in, that we've got... We don't even have a president of the United States. We don't have anybody. It's completely admitted that this man is not running a thing, right? So there's your conspiracy theory. Well, looks like we got a real puppet in this White House, and nobody gives a crap anymore. They're not trying to hide it. The man is not doing nothing. He is completely being led. And yet I'm not supposed to believe that 9/11, was an inside job, blah, blah, blah. I'm not supposed to believe in the recent JFK announcement. But we literally have a puppet government that's being run by a cabal of these globalists, right? These globalist corporatocracy, WEF people that are leading us straight into hell. And I would much rather have Kamala Harris. But that, to me, you tell me if I'm wrong. But what I just heard through all this speak is that Joe Biden's not going to be impeached. That this thing's going to drag out through the November election, and they're going to come up with all this stuff, and every single day we're going to have to read these stories and become gaslit, just like we're gaslit about Owen Schroyer, January 6th, election integrity, Governor Michelle Lujan, and then God knows what else, and we're going to have to read this crap every day because it's complete gaslighting from all angles, and I am sick and freaking tired of it. I am sick and tired of it. It's all a show. Every bit of it. It's clown world. All right. Now, maybe Marjorie Greene and the Republicans can't do anything, but we can't even get people to back Colton Moore in this state for standing up to our corrupt WEF governor who's signing executive orders in this state to share your data with everybody around everywhere that you don't have to know about, right? But he doesn't want to call a special session because, well, the election was just fine. Yeah, we'll see when this state turns Democrat in 2024, if we even have an election, folks. I mean, this is DEFCON like 2 right now in America. We're spiraling down the toilet bowl. And I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm firm to my word. If this president does not get impeached, I am leaving the Republican Party. I am leaving everything. I'm quitting everything I got because it's not worth it to me for my time and my effort to fight these people, because I know what I don't speak about in the context of here, right? Because we remain hopeful. I know where this is going, and I know where I'm going to have to be. You understand? I'm doing this because I care about my community. I care about conservatism in America. But if I can't get any kind of results, and you're telling me that we don't even have enough people in our state, we don't have enough people in our Congress to stand up to this complete tyranny, well, then what am I doing wasting my time? What am I doing even wasting my time voting? Because all I get now is, well, there's grassroots movements over here. They keep talking about this. They're the one. No. They're not the ones that split off from everybody. They're not the ones who tried to kick people out for wearing a stupid T-shirt. They're not the ones that are admitting that things can be hacked. They're not the ones they're not admitting that all these court cases from like Garland, Favorito, Voter Georgia, all these places, they're getting shut down everywhere. It's just enough to make you just insanely mad. So, like I said, y'all, if the man doesn't get impeached, count me out of politics anymore, because I'm going to be done with it. I'm just going to start rabbit holing everything, going back to the white papers, teaching people about what really needs to be taught about, that it's already over, you know. We're just here right now. So, now, before I go too much further, I'm fixing to send the link out. I've got a guest. We got some good news, and she's going to explain everything that we need to know about some good stuff going on with citizens' grand juries, all right? And I'm going to explain a little bit about this. Y'all just bear with me here, because we're going to do this, and then we're going to get into some World War III business real quick. But let me go ahead and get this link sent. It's Jennifer Hillegas. She does tactical civics and some other things, and she's been working closely in Cherokee County to get some things done and pushed into the court system. And I'm going to let her explain this to you, because this is some really good news. It's not all doom and gloom. We got some good news here. So, and I do apologize for just give me 1 second. So I sent the link. Should be good. And the link should have went out. So let me explain a little bit of this real quick. So we have what's called a citizen's petition. All right, it goes into how our system is kind of a maritime law system, and then it's like common law, things that are not necessarily taught through our legal system, right? Things that are out there. How would you say? There's just different. You know, there's a lot of things that we don't know about, that we're not taught about in our legal system, that we the people have the control, right? The control's been taken away. Like this system has gotten too big for its britches. You know, take Nancy Pelosi, for example. It's a $193,000 job a year, and she's worth of $293 million, right? Now, how do you get that kind of money? Well, I mean, look at the insider trading, look at the stock market, look at all the deals that are, made constantly, right? It's unnerving, you know. Look at the way that our system is set up, where you have to be basically, you know, somebody rich just to even be taken seriously for any kind of position, right? Anyway, I'm just rambling on here, but I'm going to go ahead and introduce Jennifer Hilligus. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, good deal, good deal. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for wanting to come on here. So I just set it up just a little bit. I'm gonna give it to you and kind of let you run with it. So this is some really good news here.
Okay, so while all the shenanigans were going on for 9/11 with Biden and Iran, we actually had something good happen as far as at the grand jury. We were able to get our presentment sent straight to the foreman of the grand jury without the DA or the judge interfering.
Great. This is great news. So set this up for our people. A lot of people may not know exactly what this is. So just kind of go through a little bit about what is this petition?
Okay, so according to the United States Constitution and the Georgia Constitution, we the people have the right to utilize our grand jury as a law enforcement tool. So the citizens took it upon themselves to hire a judge, a retired judge, to help draft a presentment that was sent to the grand jury on behalf of we the people. It's done confidentially. It's sent to the foreman.
Okay.
Not the bailiff, not the DA, and not the judge. And there's laws in place in Georgia, and probably in every other state also, that if the judge or the DA interferes or tampers with the evidence, they can go to prison for no less than 5 years. Well, it could, I take that back. It could be 1 to 5 years, but nonetheless, it's a felony.
Okay. And so this is, I know this has been tried in a few counties, all right? I don't want to go into too much detail about it, but the basis of it is a citizen's petition for a grand jury. And the objective is for the citizens to get it into the hands of a grand jury foreman, right? So they have their legal authority to do that, and then once it gets into the hands of a grand jury foreman, they can present it to the jury and decide whether they want to move on with it, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, the grand jury will talk about it and discuss the presentment, and then they will decide by voting if they will pursue the investigation
Okay.
of the petition.
And can we go into what this particular investigation is about?
I can tell you a little bit about it.
Okay.
So if really, here's it in a nutshell. If they investigate and start summoning witnesses and uncover all the evidence that we the people have uncovered inside of Board of Elections, you know, ever since the 2020 election, there have been people working in every county uncovering fraud.
Absolutely.
All 150 counties in the state of Georgia have somebody that has uncovered fraud.
Mm-hmm.
And so what it comes down to is Dominion Voting Machine, their contracts are breaking Georgia voting laws.
Okay.
The ballot is spoiled because the QR code changes your votes once it goes through the machine.
Right.
Okay, so when you print the ballot off, you can read who you voted for. You can review it, you can see that.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a barcode that is illegal because when that piece of paper goes through the scanner, that ballot is spoiled. It creates a second ballot that you cannot review.
Gotcha.
And that injures every Georgian. And as a result of the 2020 election results, it has injured every citizen in America.
Wow.
So
There you
this
go.
has been presented to several different counties, but it wasn't done the way that it needed to be done.
Okay.
And there are DAs out there that have blocked it, and they are committing felonies by doing that.
Understood. Well, it's certainly a ray of hope that this has actually gotten through in Cherokee County. And we need to kind of stay on top of this and see what happens, because if I'm not mistaken, this particular petition will summon witnesses that are wrote in there that will be able to explain this further to a grand jury, and they will be able to bring this case up in front of them, correct?
That's correct. I saw the document. I saw the presentment. It's beautiful.
Okay.
It references the cases that have happened in the past in Georgia and other states.
Mm-hmm.
And it also gives the jury some guidance on what to do next.
Oh, good. Good.
So it's beautiful. But it all goes hand in hand. If you're the kind of person you want to look it up, go to the Georgia Constitution, Article 1, Section 1, Paragraph 2, 5, 9, and 12. It says that we, the people, have the right to petition our grand jury with any grievance.
That's
anything
awesome.
suspicious in your county.
And they don't teach that, do they?
No, they don't teach that. It's all by design. They don't teach that.
I got you.
So we'll teach it. We have a training center called tacticalcivics.com. So if you'd like to learn more about it, you can go to tacticalcivics.com and you can watch an 11-minute video. And they reference in the United States Constitution where you can find the information saying that we the people. See, we the people are we're supposed to be in charge of this country.
Right.
So when President Trump said in his inauguration speech that he's giving the country back to we the people, we have to be ready to take that power.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
once we receive it and we start doing this work inside the grand jury, you can investigate anything suspicious in your county.
Right.
And when these corrupt politicians realize that we're going to hold them accountable
Mm-hmm.
through a court of law,
Right.
when the corruption stops, and it doesn't matter which party's in control, because we the people will be in control.
Right. Sounds good. I really like. I would love to see a future like that. So hopefully we can
Yes.
get more people that want to get involved. And if anybody's out there from Cherokee County tonight, kudos to you for getting this into the grand jury. I believe this is probably the first time this has ever been done, and we hope that maybe we can get something moving forward on this for we the people, right? Because obviously
Yeah.
the court systems and our regular systems are just blocking everything. We get some victories, but we don't ever hear about them.
So this is a small victory. So
Yes.
join us in prayer. We had 300 people in intercessory prayer while
Right.
this was going on. They just kept praying and praying and praying.
Right.
One would stop, and then another one would start. And so just pray that God gives the grand jury discernment
Mhm.
and that they understand how serious it is,
Mhm.
and they start summoning the witnesses that they need to build their case.
Let's hope so. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right. We'll talk to you later.
Okay, thank you.
All right, folks, you heard it. There's a little bit of good news here. Basically, that there's a citizen's petition that has been brought about in Cherokee County through the grand jury foreman. So we'll keep tabs on it and see if we can find out how that's going to go. To me, I believe that's a small victory for we the people, right? Because the people are kind of standing up and doing something. I mean, we're so tired of the politics. I know I'm completely tired of the politics. It wears you completely out when you hear the doublespeak and how everything has to be. There's an excuse for everything. If somebody doesn't want to do anything, they can come up with a million excuses. But I think we're growing so tired of the excuses and so tired of where things are, because every single day, like I said, every single day we hear more and more going on, more gaslighting, more everything that's happening to us. And there's so many good people out there that are grassroots movements that are just simply trying to vie for transparency and to fix things. And we are in a broken state. We're in a broken country But Georgia is especially a broken state. It is splintered, and it's not been splintered by the grassroots. It's not being splintered by people who are standing up and trying to fight against this. It's being splintered by the establishment that's already here. Why? Well, let me tell you a little something. Why are things this bad? Because let me tell you, these people don't care about winning. What they care about is they care about holding on to their power. I'll give you a perfect example. Jeff Mullis. I'm going to pick on him for a second, right? I haven't talked to Jeff Mullis since the election, right? But I have not seen him in any Republican Party. I haven't seen him come onto the scene or anything like that. Maybe he's just retired out. Maybe he's just had enough of it, right? But you see these people that lose their power so that new people, new blood can come in and take over and try to move forward, right? Well, they don't give any support to anybody else. They don't want to help strengthen the Republican Party. They don't want to help strengthen conservatives. They don't want to get involved with anything. They want their nice, cushy little place where they're making their nice, cushy little money. And they don't care about progressing anything. All they care about is themselves. You know, they care about what they're doing and what they have. They care about their own power. But whenever that power is taken away from them, they could give a crap less about anything. They don't care about, well, I need to join in this movement, or I need to figure out a way where I can get involved and move things along and make things better. No. They don't care. They don't care about winning anymore. They care about their power, man. What we need is people that don't care about the power, that care about the situation, that care about moving things forward in the right direction. That's the people we need. We don't need people that are just trying to get money, because all these things is connected by corporatocracy and money, and it's tit for tat, and it's just so sickening. And I'm not even just picking on Georgia. It's everywhere. We heard from Zoe Warren last week about, like I said, the governors. I've got a special project I'm working on for that. But what he said, his governor's way worse than what we're dealing with right now. You know, so I applaud that as a win, a sort of a win for we the people, right? Coming in and trying to get, I lost my story here. So anyway, I'm going to go on because I'm not going to stay on too much longer. There's been some great comments tonight. People are really, really hanging out. I appreciate you. But there's my rant, my rave. I'm telling you right now, what I'm hearing to sum this up is that we're not going to get an impeachment from Joe Biden. I guess we kind of knew that, but this doublespeak, I will not believe it until I see it. And the way it is looking right now is that it's going to be an inquiry that's going to drag out all the way to next November, and Joe Biden, God have mercy, we're going to have to deal with him. And it's just a political show. Prove me wrong. I am a citizen. I am just I'm just a dude sitting here spitting my mouth, but I'm watching and I'm looking and I'm reading and I'm listening, and you're not telling me anything of substance. Nobody's telling me anything. You know, it kind of sucks, man. So you're telling me that we're going to investigate the entire government and we're going to try to put them all away. I mean, can you imagine trying to go through that right now? No, I can't. So, all right. So here's where I'm going to get a little bit of my loaded for bear. So let's talk a little bit about World War III. I haven't been talking about it a lot, but if you're living under a rock and don't already know that America is in a full proxy war, and we've decided to tragically use the country of Ukraine as an open battlefield, right? Decimating that country. And here we have North Korea now is officially joining Russia. So you're having your axis, and allies set up, just going into World War III. Let me tell you, this government wants it. They're vying for it. The only people in this country that are making the money is the government and the military-industrial complex, along with Ukraine, right? And we're not talking about the people of Ukraine that have been killed, that have been uprooted out of their lives. We're talking about Zelensky and his cronies that have been bought and paid for by this country, make no mistake. And I am not a Russia bro, any stretch of the word. But you need to do some real research on where we're at, where we're going, because this thing is going to get hot. And no matter what we're doing here, what we're doing in every movement, being up here and talking about this, you need to be prepared for the future, all right? Because it's twofold here. So here we go, talking about the war. Ukraine, none of the offenses have worked. The offensives have worked. You've got Elon Musk being attacked right now because, well, he didn't do anything with Starlink. You got to read these articles. You see all these flashy headlines. What the man did was he simply wouldn't let them, activate it in the middle of a battleground. He didn't shut anything off or do anything like that. Now they're painting this man to be this huge villain. Magically, after the ADL comes out, being, as they're going to sue the ADL, which the ADL is a very, very corrupt institution. We all know that. And me saying that is probably going to get me in trouble. But, I mean, these corrupt think tanks, these institutions, I mean, every single bit of it has been corrupted. And now here we are. We know this. They're not even hiding it anymore. It's completely brazen. But let me tell you something. People want to call you tinfoil hatter, say, "Oh, we're not going to be at war. We're not going to do this." If you look around at our economy, you look around at our fiat currency, how at any point in time that this could drop off, our fiat currency could be completely useless. And then you've got central banking, digital currency that's being threatened over and over and over again, being prepared actually. And the one story that I wanted to get to, I don't know if, right here. GOP Representative Tom Emmer introduces legislation to block Federal Reserve from issuing CBDCs in any form, citing surveillance risk and monetary policy concerns. I wanted to get into this a little bit because we talk about it quite a bit, but CBDCs are a huge and real thing, and it is a big push coming, okay? So let's just read a little bit of this article because this all ties in with BRICS and World War III. But House Majority Whip Tom Emmer reintroduces flagship legislation, the Central Bank Digital Currency CBDC Anti-Surveillance State Act, signaling a strong countermove against the Biden regime's overreach into Americans' financial privacy. Emmer has railed a significant block of 50 original Republican co-sponsors, underscoring concern among conservatives about the implications of a government-issued digital currency. Now, I applaud this man for doing what he is doing, okay? But this thing is going to roll in no matter what, okay? And it's not going to be able to prop up the dollar, especially when you've got another global currency that's coming up, all right? I'm not trying to tell you that we're just going to fall, but we're incrementally just going down the tubes. I mean, you go to a Walmart and you try to buy a bag of Lay's potato chips, it's $5 now. I mean, but when they get this central bank digital currency start rolling, right? Because it's all going to be minuscule. It's all going to be incremental. You're not going to feel a thing. We've been leading up to this the entire time. Our money's digital right now anyway, correct? They're not going to let you use cash. And think about this, for example, carbon. I read an article today talking about how this certain corporations and global entities want to become completely carbonless by the year 2035, blah, yada, yada. So what do you think is going to happen when you're still driving a gasoline vehicle, right? Because the Biden administration is coming out and clearly saying that we're moving into electric vehicle phase. We're going to phase out our vehicles. What do you think is going to happen when you go to a gas tank or to fill up your car with gas and you're completely on central bank digital currency? And all of a sudden, as soon as you run your card, you get charged a carbon tax. So you're paying $10 a gallon for gas because you're paying a penalty for doing these things. Notice what is the government doing? What is the government doing for the people? Can anybody name one thing that the government is actually doing for the people right now? I mean, I get it. Yeah, I want to see Biden impeached. Of course I do. I want to see these things roll. I want to see these corrupt individuals be sent to jail. But what are any of these people doing for the people? All we're doing is let the Federal Reserve completely mark up these interest rates so high. Now people can't afford housing. People can't hardly afford new vehicles. I believe now it's like we're already over the 2008 stock market crash foreclosure rates on houses. I believe the foreclosure rate in 2008 was around 24%. It's supposed to reach up to 36%, right? We looked at a study the other day that I can't pull up for you now, which is basically saying that there's a very big percentage of houses, even in our county alone, that has already went into foreclosure, right? Well, how are my kids supposed to be able to buy a house and a car and all these things? I mean, look, everything that you pay for during a daily basis, your insurance, your lights, your rent, your whatever, your phone, internet. I mean, we're completely, we're just getting, we're in like a swamp, man. We're drowning in debt. And now people are using their credit cards to buy groceries, you know. None of this is good. None of this is leading to a good place, you know? And nothing is changing when you talk about election integrity. There's people fighting so hard, and I hope to see these changes, but these establishment people, they don't care. They want to hang on to their power, man. They don't care about this. Our government doesn't seem to care about any of us or anything. They completely double speak everything. Look at the issue with sanctuary cities, right? All these wonderful big cities said, oh, we're going to become sanctuary cities. We're going to open up our borders, and you people down there are crazy. You're a bunch of racists, blah, blah, blah. Now, all of a sudden, they're getting thousands and thousands influx in, say, New York, and Eric Adams, the mayor, come out last week and basically said that the New York's going to go to hell. But he's blaming Texas. He's blaming Greg Abbott for sending them up there. You want it to be a sanctuary city. It has nothing to do with the people. It's all about the illegal immigration, about how you're trying to push all of this stuff in at one time and destroy this nation. I mean, Lord, I could go on about it, which I'm starting to ramble. But all of these things you got to be prepared for. All right? I'm not talking about doom and gloom. I'm not talking about nuclear war, but if you don't think that China is going to take Taiwan, okay, if you don't think they're already getting prepared in the Taiwanese Strait, in the Philippines, North Korea getting together with Russia, you've got Russia in the mix of all of this. You've got us that's just poking and prodding the bear, man. It's getting pretty scary. I mean, 6 months ago, I would have already thought that we would have been in some sort of like huge escalation. But we're this close, man. We're right on the edge of full-fledged World War III. Now think about what World War III will get the government, right? It won't get us anything. But what will it get the government? Well, it will get the government martial law. They'll be able to shut down the Constitution, like we're getting gaslit about, right? They're going to be able to do away with the Constitution because you heard it out of the governor's mouth. In an emergency, I could shut down the Constitution, right? Martial law, the Constitution doesn't matter. They already did it with COVID, guys. So what are they going to get out of it? Well, they can freeze the presidency because everything they're throwing at Donald Trump, guess what? It's just not sticking, right? They're making it more powerful. Well, they can't have that. They're desperately trying to keep this guy off the ballot in like 4 different states. So they can shut down the presidency just like old Zelensky did in Ukraine. I mean, think about the benefits of America going into World War III, right? Because the military-industrial complex will be able to just rape and pillage everything that we've got. They'll be able to shut down the economy, right? I have a video that I can't play for you at the moment of Klaus Schwab saying that, well, let me pull it up real quick. They will be able to shut down the economy. They will be able to stop you from working. They'll be able to keep you at home. They'll be able to invoke all kinds of powers acts on you. And let me just play this real quick from TrueStream Media, all right? Listen to this. This is actually...
we have people decided they didn't really want to work.
I hope that's going out loud enough.
COVID, and that has had a massive issue on productivity. You know, tradies have definitely pulled back on productivity. You know, they have been paid a lot to do not too much in the last few years, and we need to see that change. We need to see unemployment rise. Unemployment has to jump 40, 50% in my view. We need to see pain in the economy. We need to remind people that they work for the employer, not the other way around. I mean, there's been a systematic change where employees feel the employer is extremely lucky to have them, as opposed to the other way around. So it's a dynamic that has to change. We've got to kill that attitude, and that has to come.
So you hear what he's saying, Barry. I hope that went through all right. They're basically telling us that just like we, the people don't matter. The government's what matters, right? The employees don't matter. We've got to we've got too much thinking that we're this valuable. It's the employers that are more valuable than the people, right? The employers are more invaluable. We have to go through pain. We've got to kill our economy. We need to see 40 to 50% unemployment. Do you see? This is the people. These are the think tanks and the people that are in these positions that are spouting this crap. This is where they want to move. They want you out of a job. They want you on a controlled income. They don't want you to be able to spend your money and buy things the way that you want to buy them. They don't want you to question their election integrity. They want you to go along with this system. They want to put you back down and say, hey, no rabble rousing here. You just get in line like a little sheep and just go with it. You understand? Now, World War III will give them just about every single thing that they want. Why wouldn't we? And if you don't believe that that's a plan, I'm telling you now, you need to get prepared for it. And what do I mean by prepared, right? I don't mean you go out and you build a bunker. We can't afford those kind of things. I'm just a little peon down here. But let me tell you something. People say you're crazy sometimes. Oh, you're crazy for talking about bunkers and this and that, the end of the world, blah, blah, blah. Well, let me tell you something. You go watch any prep video, you go watch any YouTuber that's talking to people who are building underground bunkers and things like that. The people with disposable incomes, they're already buying this stuff. They've already bought it. The millionaires, the owner of ChatGPT, and all of these people that are high in Silicon Valley, they've already bought bunkers. They're already planning for this stuff. They don't talk about it because they don't have to talk about it. Nobody cares about you or me anyway. And you know what? If I won the lottery tomorrow, guess what I would do? I would build a bunker for myself because, yeah, I'm that crazy dude. But if you had the money, you'd already be doing it. So what I mean is you don't know where you're going to be when things happen. You don't know if you're going to be able to control it. You don't know if you'll have communications. But what you can do now is you go ahead and set some things aside like first aid, like food, like water, things like that. Even radiation pills, for crying out loud. They're really easy to get right now. I mean, the government, they spent like $230 million on radiation pills. Your own government just went through and bought that. Why did your government buy that? They bought them with your tax dollars as well. Are you going to call the government crazy conspiracy theorists because they stocked up on radiation medication while we're just down here doing nothing? You see my point? It's not tinfoil hat stuff. It's just reality of where we're living. You look at the cities like Albuquerque, New Mexico, they want to shut things down. You look at the top 10 worst cities. We all know that the cities are just, they're overrun with drugs and violence and they're just being tore down. And it's insane. And then I get the people that say, well, it ain't going to happen around here. Well, you can believe what you want to believe, but sooner or later, when all the stores close up and Walmart can't afford the shrinkage and they're closing all these doors and all the people start getting hungry, they've got nowhere to go, they're going to start branching out. We're already seeing some of this stuff, especially if you're on Twitter and you're paying attention. And all I'm saying is situational awareness. Number one, this has nothing to do with race. It has nothing to do with gender. It has nothing to do with LGBT. It has everything to do with our culture and the degradation of our culture. All right? That we've taken God out of everything. We've taken morality out of everything. And which is going to lead me to my last point here, right? So what is the future that they want, right? We've already established World War III could give them so much for this 2024 because this is a pivotal time. And if you don't know what Agenda 2030 is, I highly suspect that you get involved and read the books and do a little research on it to find out where we're at. The reason why that Donald Trump is so hated right now, the reason why Donald Trump is being fought against, it has everything to do with Agenda 2030, with being on a trajectory for a new global world order, okay? I'm not making this up. It's not crazy, but it's where they're going with it. Now, I know this is late. I'm going to post 2 videos here momentarily on another thread that everybody needs to watch. If you haven't already subscribed to Truth Stream Media, they're one of the greatest creation channels I've ever seen. They've got so much good content. And I'm going to post their video on the Burning Man. It's a little 30-minute video on Burning Man that I want everybody to see, because you got to understand symbolism. You got to understand the forces of nature, the spirituality behind all this, the evilness that people have to, they got to do rituals for. I mean, it goes deep. And the other video I'm going to post is one that Tim Pool released, Timcast, about a lot of AI that I'm going to cut short tonight because I'm not going to get a chance. I'm not going to waste y'all's time. But it's really crazy when you think about AI. Like, we've talked about AI a lot this year. When ChatGPT first came on the scene, like publicly, right? Back in early January, February, and I said, where are we going to be at? Well, now we're in September, and these programs they're learning hand over fist how to do things. I've showed you guys videos. You're seeing videos of this artificial intelligence technology. You're seeing these filters where you can literally take like a couple dudes with wigs on one side, and the filters are so good on the other, they look like these beautiful women, right? At some point, artificial intelligence is going to really, really like take a hold of everything. And you combine that with these new laws out to try to prop up these dinosaur media corporations saying, well, you got to pay Facebook and Meta and all these, you got to pay them a certain percentage to be able to broadcast news on our platforms, right? And the social media companies are fighting back. And so now, like in Canada, I don't even think you can show news on Facebook anymore. And so they couldn't even report to people on about the fires because they couldn't report because they were going to have to pay for it. I mean, this is controlled completely, like a weaponization of our speech and our information getting. Sooner or later they're gonna shut all this down. I mean, it's clearly obvious they don't want people like us talking. They don't want people like us sharing information. They don't want you knowing about the Tavistock Institutes. They don't want you knowing about, we need 50% unemployment. But artificial intelligence is well on its way, and it's not right here in my backyard, but it's coming and in very, very many forms, and it's growing exponentially. So you have two threats here. Major threats, right? Because artificial intelligence is part of central banking digital currency. It's all digital. Everything is going digital, right? And then you've got World War III that is at our doorstep right now. And here we are in the wrapped up in the mix of all this political mumbo jumbo, right? This double speak. And I think that's right where they want us, folks. They want us focusing so much on all of the gaslighting that they're constantly putting out that we're just missing the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is that no matter what we do, these people don't care about winning. They care about their power, and they'll do everything in their power to keep their power. It's blatantly obvious. It's blatantly obvious when you have Mitch McConnell, for example. And I'm going to shut up here in a minute. Mitch McConnell, for example, he's had 2 lapses where he just went blank, right? I mean, he's obviously got mental problems. Like, he needs to retire. Like, things need to stop we need to put different people in, right? He is going to run again, right? Oh, I'm just fine. I'm going to run again. You got Nancy Pelosi that are having these public speaking engagements where they're saying, well, the people have spoken loud and clear in my district. They don't like the way things have been going, and they don't like it how things have been ran, and so that's why I'm running again, because I'm going to woman, you've been running it for 20 plus years, 30 years. You're a multi-millionaire. You're the reason why things aren't running good. And she's going to turn around and run again. I mean, does she think we're stupid? This is what I'm talking about. They don't care. They want that power, man. And I'm sure that this cabal is loving it. The fact that they finally got their little puppet that will do exactly what they want to do and say what they want to say, and can't even make it through a press conference. And it's sad that we're in this state. And it's really no wonder that these establishment politicians are making these backdoor deals and saying, yeah, I'll go along with it. Yeah, won't say nothing. God knows what they're being promised on the other side. But I'm telling you, we're in a real bad mess, y'all. A real bad mess. And I guess my message tonight, and I'm not going to read comments tonight because it's just too long and I'm already on too long, but thanks so much for all the comments. Matt, Anthony, Sharon, Jennifer, Tyler, James, Way Casey. I'm going to go back and answer every one of them because this is a great show tonight. But just remember this one thing. Now we're in September, it's just time to realize that the trajectory we're on is not getting any better, and I don't think it's going to get any better. We'll have some victories along the way. We're going to have some grassroots movements along the way, and I think that's all great. But these people are going to fight till the bitter end, all right? And I just think it's going to turn ugly. It's going to turn ugly. So what I'm doing, same thing I always do. I'm looking at my situational awareness. Where am I at now? Where's my family? Where do I need to be? What can I do to strengthen my independence? Because they definitely don't want you independent. And I'm also prepared to draw a line in the sand, because I'm telling you, if the politics don't get any better, we all griped when Donald Trump was in office for the first 2 years and he had a Republican Congress and a Republican Senate. And none of us were really paying that much attention. There were some people, but we didn't really know quite the scope of what was going on. And we lost that, right? We lost that halfway through the presidency. And then, of course, we went down for COVID for 3 years? Event 201, right? So here we are again with another Congress, and we ain't got nobody with enough kahunas to do anything about it. And they're talking some pretty games. They're saying, hey, we got this going on, but are they going to be able to follow through? Well, if you listen closely, they're saying, no, we're going to do this, and we're going to expose stuff, and we're going to expose atrazine and fluoride, and we're going to expose the things in your food and chemtrails and weather manipulation, but we're not going to do anything about it because we can't. You see what I'm saying? I'm so tired of this. I'm so tired of it. So, no, we can't have a special legislative session. We're not going to do that. But I am going to sign an executive order that says I can pass your information along to every government agency I want to at my discretion, and you don't have to know about it. That's where we're at, folks. So, and if they get away with this artificial intelligence, this central banking digital currency, then they got us right where they want us. They're going to end up putting us in the pods. They're going to put up these virtual reality machines, and everybody's going to want to go in there, because just watch the Tim Pool video that I put up. And just, it's pretty dang good. But thanks, everybody, for hanging out with me. I went on way too long. Thank you, Jennifer Hilligus, for coming on the screen and giving us some really good news, and we'll follow that. And to everybody out there, I want to read comments so bad, but I'm not going to, because there's just so many comments. But thank y'all for participating. And everybody go read the comments. Go read what people are saying, because normally I'd like to do it. But I was kind of loaded for bear tonight. But Matt, it's good to see you, my brother. You are, he is my brother. But anyway, no outro tonight. You guys have a great evening, and hopefully I'll have some special stuff next week, and then we'll do our live stream the next Wednesday.